My girlfriend believed she could treat me with disrespect without any repercussions. She discovered the hard way that wasn't the case. I'm a cybersecurity expert, and my girlfriend Erica works as a freelance artist. We've been dating for 2.5 years, sharing a home for the last 8 months. I assumed our relationship was strong, but I was completely mistaken. 3 nights ago, I woke up around 2 a.m. to go to the bathroom and realized Erica wasn't beside me. She wasn't in any part of the house. No note, no message, just vanished at 2 a.m. on a Wednesday morning. I stayed awake until 4:30 a.m. when she eventually returned. When I inquired about where she'd been, she simply shrugged and claimed she needed fresh air and had taken a drive. That seemed reasonable enough. Everyone requires personal space occasionally. But when I expressed that I'd been anxious because she left in the dead of night without a word, that's when the argument escalated. Erica quickly became defensive and began attacking me for being overbearing and jealous. She claimed I was behaving like her dad and that she didn't have to inform me of her every move. As I attempted to clarify that I wasn't attempting to dominate her, only that I'd been worried for her safety, she mocked me and said, "What are you, my guardian? I'm an adult woman, Joey. I don't require your approval to exit my own home." Technically, it's her home, but I held back from mentioning that. The discussion deteriorated from there. She blamed me for being needy, stated I was smothering her, and suggested that if I couldn't manage dating a self-reliant woman, perhaps I should seek someone more compliant. I tried to calm things down, but she continued escalating. She mentioned feeling confined in our partnership and that she required greater autonomy to express herself. When I asked for specifics on what that entailed, she grew even more hostile and instructed me to solve it on my own. Erica's actions were raising every alarm bell in my mind. The mysterious late-night exit, the instant diversion when confronted, the hostile reaction, and the efforts to turn the tables and portray me as the issue. This wasn't merely someone seeking solitude. This was an individual who'd been caught in wrongdoing and was now attempting to gaslight me into retreating. But rather than confronting her directly or sparking a bigger conflict, I simply replied, "You're correct. I apologize for reacting excessively. You deserve all the autonomy you want." She appeared taken aback by my reply, but seemed pleased. She headed to sleep, and I remained awake processing everything I'd noticed. By the next day, I'd reached my conclusion. Erica had been exploiting my support for months. I'd assisted her in establishing a professional banking account and made her an authorized user on one of my credit cards for urgent situations. I'd granted her permission to use my Adobe Creative Cloud subscription because she couldn't purchase her own. I'd even configured a protected cloud backup for her designs and project documents. Above all, she'd been residing in my home, sharing my bed, consuming groceries I purchased, utilizing services I covered, all while paying perhaps $300 or $400 monthly and behaving as if she was granting me a privilege. If Erica desired autonomy and liberation from my domineering ways, then she could experience precisely that. So yesterday morning, after she departed for a client appointment, I started revoking her privileges to all resources, updated every password, eliminated her from the credit card, terminated her software permissions, saved copies of her documents from my cloud drive, and readied them for handover, then blocked her entry. But the key move was contacting her father. Colonel Richard Hayes is a former Army officer renowned for his disciplined, straightforward approach. Erica has often complained about despising his regimented attitude and how she could never return home because she couldn't tolerate his rules again. I phoned him yesterday afternoon and described the circumstances. Colonel Hayes listened without interruption and then stated, "I'll head up first thing tomorrow to pick her up and her belongings. It appears she requires a reminder about accountability and courtesy." His tone indicated that Erica's return home wouldn't be pleasant. I replaced the locks on my home yesterday evening. Erica arrived around 8 p.m. to discover her key no longer functioned. When she phoned me, I explained calmly that since she'd emphasized feeling restricted in our setup and craving liberty, I was facilitating her in obtaining that. I informed her that her father would arrive in the morning to assist with her move to her new arrangements. The pause on the line lasted roughly 15 seconds. Then she completely exploded. She began yelling about how I couldn't simply evict her and that I was acting spiteful and unkind. She insisted I allow her entry right away and claimed I was devastating her existence over trivial matters. I replied that she could retrieve her items when her father showed up and that I'd organized all her professional files for migration to her chosen storage. I expressed good wishes and ended the call. She rang back 6 times. I ignored them. This morning, Colonel Hayes arrived precisely on schedule with a rental trailer. Erica accompanied him, appearing exhausted from lack of sleep. She attempted to plead with me for a short extension to secure alternative housing, but Colonel Hayes interrupted and directed her to concentrate on packing since they faced a lengthy journey. As she collected her possessions, she repeatedly tried to persuade me that I was exaggerating and that we could resolve it if I'd simply listen. She claimed she'd been dealing with high stress and had managed it badly, but that didn't justify discarding our shared history. I noted that our shared history mostly involved me offering monetary aid while she provided little in return and seemingly believed she deserved total liberty without any responsibility. She began weeping and called me cold and insisted she cared deeply for me. Colonel Hayes completed loading her items while she continued bargaining. When finished, he informed her it was time to depart. She pleaded with me to rethink, promising improvement and another opportunity. I explained that her version of improvement and mine were fundamentally different. She seemed ready to respond further, but Colonel Hayes placed his hand on her shoulder and led her to his vehicle. As they drove off, I overheard him mentioning they'd discuss accountability, courtesy, and outcomes extensively on the trip. That occurred 6 hours ago. I'm now relaxing in my serene home, enjoying delivery food and questioning if I managed this appropriately. Am I the jerk in this scenario? Should I have invested more effort in communicating before such firm steps? Or was I justified in viewing her conduct as a vulnerability and addressing it decisively? Update 1. Shared 4 days after the initial post, which received far more views than anticipated. Appreciate the encouragement and suggestions. I've got developments that should provide a fuller context. Firstly, Colonel Hayes phoned me yesterday afternoon. The discussion was revealing. Evidently, Erica's readjustment to her father's home hasn't gone well. She's struggling with expectations for household contributions, adhering to simple guidelines on whereabouts, and basic communication. But the major revelation, in one of their talks on accountability, Erica tearfully confessed what her nighttime outings truly involved. She'd been involved with another man for the last 6 weeks. Not entirely surprising, considering the warning signs, but the specifics hit hard. She'd been visiting a man she'd connected with via her freelance projects, specifically a client. She'd slip out after I was asleep, typically returning around 3 or 4 a.m., acting as if all was normal. When Colonel Hayes questioned why she hadn't ended things with me if she preferred someone else, her reply was telling. She explained she wasn't prepared to lose the security I offered, but craved more thrill than our life provided. The other man was also committed, engaged to be married, it seems. Quite the respectable setup. Colonel Hayes shared this because he wanted me to know I'd shown greater composure and wisdom than Erica merited. His precise phrasing, but there's additional info. Recall how Erica labeled me controlling and demanded her autonomy? Turns out she'd been intending to cohabitate with the affair partner once his engagement ended. She was certain he'd choose her and they'd build an exciting future. Major twist. When Erica contacted him about her predicament and requested temporary housing, he essentially clarified he sought nothing committed and that she'd misread their dynamic. Then he cut off contact. So now she's confined to her father's home. No partnership with me. None with him. No safety net. And a stark realization of true independence. Colonel Hayes mentioned she's mostly stayed in her old room, weeping and inquiring if he believes I'd reconsider with a sincere apology. He advised her that connections destroyed by deceit and lack of respect rarely recover, and that she ought to prioritize self-sufficiency over seeking another provider. I must say, Colonel Hayes's approach impresses me. Regarding myself, I'm faring quite well. The home feels tranquil now. I've rested better, eaten healthier, and truly appreciated my downtime without endlessly pondering Erica's needs or her apparent unhappiness. Several shared acquaintances have contacted me for my perspective. News of events has spread, and Erica has been portraying herself as victimized by my abrupt cruelty. After sharing the true timeline, most grasp my choices. One acquaintance revealed Erica had grumbled for months about me being dull and overly predictable, yet never suggested ending things due to enjoying my reliability. Some have questioned if I second-guess my actions or feel I was excessive. Truthfully, no regrets remain. Erica consciously decided over 6 weeks. She opted to breach trust, endanger us both health-wise, and meet valid worries with disdain and deception. All I did was cease supporting those decisions. I didn't ruin her prospects. I merely ended funding her infidelity. Update 2, shared 1 week after. This saga continues unfolding unexpectedly. Erica concluded she wasn't finished with us, and her reconciliation effort was memorable. Last Friday night, I received a message from Erica requesting to visit and discuss our ending. I left it unread. Roughly an hour later, another message saying she was nearby and wished to resolve tensions. Still silent. Then at about 9 p.m., the buzzer sounded. Camera check showed Erica outside with luggage and a shopping bag. She was solo, no father or vehicle in sight. I ignored the door. Texted instead, "Your plan won't succeed. Kindly depart." She replied instantly, "Allow me 5 minutes to clarify. There's details you must know." Curiosity won, so I opened but blocked entry. Standing in the frame, I asked her intent. Erica delivered a prepared monologue on her grave error and how recent weeks clarified her loss. She said returning to her father's reminded her of our comforts, and she sought amends. On the infidelity, she downplayed it. Claimed purely physical, no emotions for him. Alleged confusion and rebellion from feeling our bond routine. A foolish choice, not representing true sentiments. The bag held components for my preferred dish. She intended to prepare it, demonstrating growth. The luggage indicated she'd already exited her father's and required temporary shelter during reconciliation. I stated no interest in reconciliation and suggested returning to her father. Then came her ace. She announced pregnancy. It stunned me briefly. Then I queried progress. About 6 weeks. Doctor visit? Multiple home tests, no appointment yet. 6 weeks aligned with cheating onset. I highlighted this. Erica's attitude changed. Weeping, she insisted certainty it was mine due to precautions with him. What precautions? Protection mostly. Mostly. I said if genuine, paternity confirmation first, then discuss obligations. No changes on claims alone. She erupted. Yelled about desertion in need. Couldn't fathom demanding proof, proving lack of love. I remained composed, noting trust lost via cheating, lies, manipulation. No resumption via unproven assertions. Then she attempted forcing entry. I prevented it, warned of police if not leaving. She pounded the frame, shouting life ruin. I dialed 911. She halted, retreated, but lingered in hall, sobbing theatrically about isolation. I completed call, reporting trespass refusal. During call, Erica rose, headed to elevator with luggage, audible cries. Police arrived 10 minutes later, she vanished. Took statement, provided reference, noted limited action absent return. An hour post, Colonel Hayes rang. Erica arrived midnight, distraught, alleging street eviction during reconciliation attempt. Mentioned pregnancy, my refusal of duty. Colonel Hayes probed timeline. Her vague responses led him to check phone, revealing recent messages to various men, securing alternatives if I declined. Confronted on deceit pattern, Erica confessed pregnancy fabrication. Desperation drove it, hoping persuasion. Used online images for potential proof. Colonel Hayes displeased. Informed me stricter rules now, needing firm structure. Direct contact banned, future via him. Doubted any future, but set boundary. Current status. Erica home, restricted heavily, facing outcomes for ongoing deceit. Impressively, Erica repeatedly affirms my choices. Whenever doubting harshness or speed, she acts proving leniency. Final update. Shared 3 weeks later, no initial plan, but resolution too fitting to omit. Week after prior, Colonel Hayes called with developments. Erica's deceptions impacted beyond us. Professionally too. The affair client. Erica overbilled him, claiming costs for materials/software not bought, using mine, and inflating time. His fiancée uncovered affair, then billing issues via accounting review. Reported fraud. Investigation revealed similar with 3+ clients. Systematic overcharges using my setup, keeping extras. Minor scam while in my home, my tools. Total defrauded $8,000 over 1.5 years. Sufficient for charges. Panic led blame attempt on me. Claimed I coerced inflation, took shares. Alleged fear of refusal. Backfired, prompting my review. Found pristine record, support evidence, no involvement logs. Investigators apologized. Clear quickly her desperate falsehoods. Erica charged multiple fraud counts. False report for blaming me. Court next month. Likely fines, restitution, possible incarceration per Colonel Hayes. More, triggered tax audit, underreported income, false expenses using my resources. IRS involved, owes $15,000 back taxes, penalties, interest over 3 years. Meanwhile, peaceful home, stable finances, clear record, calm nights without deceit worries. Best, Erica asked Colonel Hayes if I'd assist legal costs, since issues stemmed from us. Response, you defrauded using his home/resources, cheated, lied, then blamed him. Thinking he owes beyond restraint order shows deeper delusion. Lawyer, public defender, unaffordable private, advises guilty plea, court mercy. Evidence overwhelming. Blame attempt worsened with false charge. Colonel Hayes says Erica ceased reconciliation queries, seeks bankruptcy advice. First practical view in months. Grateful exposure now. If cautious or naive. Years subsidizing fraud amid betrayal/manipulation possible. Clean exit instead, Erica faces avoided outcomes. Thanks support, Reddit. Chapter closed. Edit. Some inquired retaliation concerns. Colonel Hayes warned Erica contact/interference ends his aid. Charges pending worsen risks. Considered order, likely unneeded. Changes prompt action. Currently her issues dominate. Note, this rewritten version maintains the identical structure, paragraph divisions, sequence of events, details, tone, and approximate length/word count as the original, with only wording and phrasing altered for variation while preserving full content without any cuts or additions.